Here on the Level Up Legacy podcast, y'all know that we love JRPGs, but we have had a number of people come in, and we know a lot of people who are new to JRPGs. And while we have talked about some JRPGs that are good to start for beginners, we thought that it would be a really great take to handle it from a ranking standpoint, or a tier list standpoint, rather. So we're going to take a look at these games today. We're going to rank them for which games are the best for newcomers to the genre to start with. And I'm sure everybody will agree with us 100%. We're going to represent as many franchises, major franchises as we can. There may be some missing. So just as a heads up, if you don't see a franchise represented, hit us up in the comments and let us know. But before we dive into it, Slam, how's it going, homie?
Oh, it's going great. You know, I've been playing a lot of video games. I beat Resident Evil 9 Requiem.
Word. Let's go.
It's amazing. It's my favorite Resident Evil of all time. Resident Evil 2
on a tier from like good to Mag's favorite game of all time. Like, where would you?
I do think it would be like if there was any Resident Evil game that Mag would love and live stream the entire playthrough, it would definitely be Resident Evil 9.
Incredible.
That's the one. It's by far the scariest.
Great.
And it's my
Sounds
favorite.
like it's for
now.
me.
Resident Evil 2 is at the top. Resident Evil 9 took its place. I think it's immaculate. I think it's one of the best horror games ever created. I am very, very high on Resident Evil 9. It is so good.
Dang.
But you know what's also good?
I have no idea.
Yeah,
what could be good,
what
Slam?
could it be?
What's coming?
Pokemon Pokopia.
What?
Is mind-blowingly amazing. Listen, okay?
He's obsessed,
It's hard.
y'all.
It's hard for me to put into words how obsessed with this game I am. Okay? This is going to turn
it's not
in.
that hard. Go ahead.
It's going to turn into like my forever game. We talked about this on the podcast before, I think when it was announced at the Nintendo Direct, where we were like, oh, that's a weird thing for them to do.
Mm-hmm.
That game doesn't look very good, you know? But it's insane. This is one of the best Pokemon games, and mainline games included, that exists, period. It's so good. It adds, and I love it for the reasons that I didn't expect to love it for. I expected it, especially after reading reviews and stuff, I expected to enjoy it for its, being similar to Dragon Quest Builders 2, being done by the same team. I loved Dragon Quest Builders 2. It was also an obsession of mine. And then I love Pokemon. So of course I was like, yeah, I'm going to enjoy this game. But I actually really enjoy the Pokemon aspects of this game the most. The collecting, like finding rare and ultra rare Pokemon, building environments for those Pokemon. I actually go through periods where like I'm obsessed with trying to get Pokemon on my island, specific ones. And I get really excited when they show up. And sometimes like other Pokemon on your island will like go to certain areas and kind of let you know and freak out when there's a Pokemon over there to get you to be like, hey, come over here. There's a Pokemon over here. You got to check it out. I got a Blastoise, and I'm super excited about that. I built a whole little section of my island just for him. I moved Charmander over by my house, so he's got like his own little house next door to mine.
Oh,
it's incredible. The game is so good, and honestly, I can't wait to do all of the challenges and stuff and unlock all of the abilities so I can really, kind of terraform this island to be exactly what I want it to be. And then there's obviously going to be special events. They're going to add new Pokemon and all that. But I think right now there's like 300 Pokemon in Pokopia.
Really?
Wow. I didn't realize there were that many. Wow.
Yeah.
That's impressive. And they can just keep adding more and more.
Mm-hmm. Excited.
Dang. One of these days, I'm interested, but the price point for me kind of, I know that it's worth the price for people who have paid it, but the price point for me has been prohibitive. But also, I've just been trying to like keep up with all of these games, and Monster Hunter Stories 3 is
comes
coming out. So I'm just
it'll
like,
be out when this episode's up. So yeah,
I know that it's the type of game where if I got it, I would not be playing anything else, and that's not great right now. So I need
it's a busy time.
Focus.
It's a really special game, and it is a system seller. And I'll say right now, I did not expect that.
Yeah, I don't think any of us did.
Even expecting it to be, even if we saw it and thought it would be meh, and we realized it would be 10 times better than meh, and I still didn't see it selling consoles. It absolutely is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, at least on like Twitter X, like the amount of posts I've seen where it's like someone being like, well, I guess I'm going to buy a Switch 2 now, or being like, my Switch is fine, but Pokopia. It's just like, yeah, I did not see that come. That was not on my bingo card. Like, new Pokemon game, like mainline Winds and Waves, maybe. But yeah, Pokopia, I didn't know the selling power that game would have. So yeah, I stand corrected, because I'm pretty sure at some point I poo-pooed on it and I was like, oh, that's gonna die on impact. Like, who cares? Yeah, I guess not.
That goes to show, really, any game could come out of nowhere and surprise us, right? I mean, we all make these lists. We all start off the year. These are the games we're most excited about. These are the games to look out for in 2026. Pokopia was on none of our bingo cards. It was on literally none of our lists. We were not like, oh yeah, Pokopia is going to be this big system seller and it's going to be something it's going to make waves and everybody's going to become totally obsessed with it. But that's what it's doing. And you never know.
Yeah.
You don't, but it's exciting. And I'm happy that people are having fun with it. It's been really fun seeing all the different like screenshots and videos that people have captured so far too. I just feel like the dialogue with the Pokemon is very cute. So
it's great.
I saw
it's
something.
Been fun to see.
I don't even know if this is true, but I saw a post where someone was like, yeah, we went to somebody else's island, and when I came back, my Charmander was like, do we have no money?
They do say some unhinged stuff. I wouldn't be surprised.
Which is pretty hilarious. That's the kind of thing that would like make me interested in playing the game.
The dialogue
I'm like, wait,
is so
what are they
funny.
going to say? Yeah.
Yeah. Even just out of context, it's hilarious. So yeah.
Yeah. That's amazing. Mags, how about you? How's it going for you?
Yeah, I've been busy. Work is super busy, and we recently went to Memphis last weekend, which was super fun. Just kind of like a short weekend trip. I was able to get some gaming time in too, so I'm still working my way through Tokyo Xanadu and Pokemon Leaf Green, which have both been very fun. I hope to finish Tokyo Xanadu soon, though, and I think I'm getting towards the end because there's just things that are happening in the plot that seem like a big deal. And I think things are wrapping up. But I've had a really good time with it so far. It kind of like combines a lot of different elements from Falcom's games and kind of squishes them together. And it's been fun to see them like use those things in like a new way. And it also has me excited for Kyoto Xanadu to kind of see how they do that with even more of a modern engine as well. The only thing I don't love about Tokyo Xanadu, though, is that they've introduced some like platforming elements in some of the later dungeons.
Don't even get me started.
And like, it just feels so weird because most of the dungeons that you play through most of the game don't have like any platforming. Like you're just running through hallways and you're doing your thing. You're breaking boxes and fighting enemies, and it's fine. But then you have some at the end. So there's no like progression of platforming. It's just like, here's a platforming element that you have to figure out or you won't get through the dungeon. And like, they're just,
it's so stiff. The controls.
Yeah, the game is not built for it because it's like in the engine that they used for Cold Steel 1 and 2, I think. And it's just, it just doesn't work well. And it doesn't have the flow of like East, where like those games, you have your action combat and you have your platforming and it feels very smooth. This game does not have that. So it's just a very weird inclusion. So I'm not sure why they put that in there, but otherwise it's really fun. I love the characters. I love the story. It's more streamlined and simplistic, but I like that because typically Falcom, at least with Trails, there's like so much happening and so much to keep track of. In this game, it's just very much straightforward, but it still has the quality a story and quality of characters in it that we definitely expect and that I love to see from their games. So overall, I'm really glad that I played it. And I think that I'm excited to see how it ends. So yeah, I'm going to be hopefully finishing that up soon and then starting Monster Hunter Stories 3 shortly as well. Super excited for that one.
Sweet. Yeah, it's like in Xenogears when they have platforming in there, and it was like banging your head against a wall trying to figure that out. You're like, I just want to climb the tower. Come on.
Like, I just want to get to the next point, and it felt more like a barrier than like something fun that added to the experience. So yeah.
Well, I have been completely addicted to Fire Red again. I have tinkered in some other games, but the thing about Pokemon games, like especially the older ones, is whenever I go back and replay them, I'm always like, what am I going to do differently this time? So this is the first time I'm going all in on trying to get a Dragonite in my team. As many times as I've played these games, I never did that before because like Dratini's not good. Dragonair's not even that good from a stat standpoint. And you don't get Dragonite until like whatever, level 55 or something like that. So it takes a lot of investment. So I've just never done that. I put my investment in early and I got, my Charizard, my Nidoking, my whatever, my Gyarados, my Alakazam. But this time I'm going all in. And so I've been having fun with that. It's been hard to put that down. But there's also been some chat in the Discord. Some of the peeps over there, shout outs to the Discord, recognize that I'm a tactics guy, unlike Slam.
Yeah, I mean, I don't play any tactics games, probably.
He's just not a tactics guy.
And I also love breaking games. And so they were like, why hasn't Brandon talked about Disgaea? And I'm like, well, I loved the first game back in the day. I played on the PSP. I was obsessed with it. I did stupid amounts of damage in that game. But I just never got into the other games. I'm not really sure why. I just didn't have them. So I got them. And then I got them for Switch, at least all of the ones that were available. And then I realized that I had them all on Steam. So I started 2. And I've probably put in a good 6-7 hours into that game so far. I'm having a good time with it. I think story-wise, it doesn't have me as hooked as the first one. The first one was just like Laharl and Etna were just so ridiculous and unhinged. And it was just easy to get into it because it was like, what the heck is going on with this? Whereas this one, it's still unhinged. You still have your printies throwing bombs at each other and stuff like that. But the main character is like more earnest. He's not as nuts as Laharl is. So he hasn't quite like, I guess I expected more zaniness from him. So I'll play a little bit longer, but we'll see. We'll see how that one goes. We'll see if I get through that one because there's 7 of them now. So I could hop around and see which one I click with. But I do love the tactical combat and being able to level up and what do they call it? Reincarnate, I think, is when you go back to level 1, but you have increased stats and things like that. So that's fun. So I've been playing a little bit of that. From our last episode, I also pulled this guy out. One of the commenters, who's a friend of mine, actually was like, dude, you have to play Cassette Beasts. And I was like, oh, I want to play that. But I still got to beat Dragon Quest. Monster Hunter Stories is coming out. Like Slam's going to get me in no time to play Pocopia before I know it. So I'm going to have to figure that one out. So yeah, but trying to get back to it, trying to get some focus in there and we'll see how it goes. But before we dive into the tier list, we want to shout out our members. If you are listening to this and you have not joined either our Discord or our membership on YouTube, consider it. At least come to the Discord. We have a lot of amazing conversations over there. A lot of amazing people there that we just love chatting with on a regular basis. Like, yeah, they're so shout out to the Discord. Such a sweet
community. Yeah, we're so blessed to have them.
Many of them have joined us as members. And so we have 3 tiers. And in one of those or 2 of those tiers, we post a post on YouTube every week where you can ask us comments. So sometimes we'll do bigger Q&A sessions, But if you join Let's Go or higher, you'll have access to be able to ask us questions every week. So this week, we have 3 questions. So we're going to go through these and then we'll dive into the tier list. So the first question, you all ready for this?
Yep.
First question's from Paul Cassetta. Shout outs to Paul Cassetta. He said, hey, everyone, hope you're all having a great day. My question for this week is, if you had to build a dream team party of JRPG heroes, 4 of them, to go against my dream team party of JRPG villains, which includes Sephiroth, Kefka, Luca Blight, and Eve, what would your choices be, and who is walking out the winner?
Who's going first?
Oh, man.
Go, Max, go.
Okay, I can go. I thought about this earlier. So I think I'm gonna go all ladies, just cause I can.
What?
For this dream team party? Because come on, there's some amazing strong ladies in JRPGs. So, first, all the Trails fans out there, I'm picking Aurelia Le Guin. Y'all, well, Slam may know who she is. She comes.
I know who she is.
She starts off in Cold Steel 2, and she is like ridiculously strong. She's mastered like 2 types of like sword style, so she's like crazy strong.
Yeah, she's
definitely
great.
A queen.
One of my favorites.
I'm gonna pick Lightning from Final Fantasy 13.
Mm-hmm.
Because she is really strong. Especially if you play all 3 games and know how it all goes. And let's see, 2 more. I had them picked out. Who else? Let me see. Let's see. I was going to pick. Oh my gosh, I'm blanking. I had 4. I'm trying to
Estelle.
remember.
Just throw Estelle in there.
No, I don't want Estelle. Because I wanted to have people from different franchises for this. Because it's like a team of people that would not normally be fighting together. So that was my thought. That was my thought. I was going to choose. Yeah, I'll go with Mio from Xenoblade 3.
Word.
Yeah. They need like an evasion tank because the other 2 ladies are not. They're more like DPS. So that fits well with the party. And then let me think. I can't believe I'm blanking, you guys. I'm sorry. I'm normally so prepared.
It's okay, Max.
Estelle.
Who would the final what?
Estelle. He's like Estelle.
Oh no, I know. Now I know. Okay. I was gonna pick FemC. That was who I was gonna pick from Persona. I was I had a Persona gal picked out. So yes, definitely her. So like I don't know if like everyone would consider these 4 like the most powerful, but I love them all and I think they all have different strengths. And so I would think they would be walking out as the winners. So
you think they can beat Sephiroth, Kefka, Luca Blight from Suikoden 2, and Eve from Parasite Eve?
Yes.
Tough.
If they have if they're built out like I would build them out, yes they would.
There you go.
There you go. I like that answer.
Yeah, that's good
answer.
confidence.
So anyway.
I'll go start off with Cloud.
Boo.
I knew that
You're
was
taking
coming.
my picks.
You
I knew that
knew
was
it.
gonna
Oh,
y'all
okay.
cannot resist this dude. I knew he was gonna be
He's
your
awesome.
part.
He's just
Yeah, we
cool,
love Cloud.
man. He's cool. Okay. Then I've got Mithra.
Okay.
Ooh, okay.
I think Mithra is just
She's really strong.
Yeah,
She's really strong.
She can take on anything. So I've got Mithra. I've got Yuna for my healer.
Okay.
And then I've got Estelle. You know, to give
Estelle.
that, you know, comedic upbeat charm that every JRPG party needs, right? So that's my crew.
I love it.
Word.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do a little bit of a bookend here, right? So I'm gonna do Cloud because Sephiroth, so I have confidence there. I'm gonna do Terra Because Kefka FF6, like, let's get Terra in there. She can do anything. Terra can dual wield swords. She can heal. She can use fight. Like, she can use fireman. Like, she's do everything. So Terra's great.
Okay.
For my third pick, I don't know. I'm gonna throw. Let's see. Let's throw Shulk in there because he can do some. He can do
He's
some
really strong.
time manipulation stuff. Yeah. And then for Eve, like we're gonna bookend it with Aya Brea, who I've argued in the past is basically female Cloud. Like, I'm pretty sure that connection is definitely there from a character standpoint. So that's my 4. Because you got Eve, Aya Brea.
Mm-hmm.
There's
That's
no
solid.
way to beat Eve if you don't have Aya Brea on the team.
I like your approach.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. That was a good
All right.
question.
That was a great question. I love that.
Yeah.
All right, next one. From ARock10. I think I say that right every time. Hello, guys. Hope you're doing great. Question: who are your guys' GOAT characters in gaming? Also, Fire Emblem tier list when? Mine are Kratos from God of War and Ike from Path of Radiance. Simple reason being their gross immaturity they show over time, and because these larger than life characters are fire. Thank you.
Max, you got anything?
Oh,
Go, Max, go.
Sure. GOAT characters. I mean, Estelle. I didn't say her in the last answer, but I'll say it in this one. No, I mean, what's not to love about her? Like, she's just an amazing, encouraging force in the games, and then she has this great arc where she like learns more about herself, becomes more confident in herself, and is able to just support the people that she loves so well, while also being a force of nature herself. And so I don't want to spoil too much about her journey because we're getting second chapter remake this year, and a lot of people haven't played through her story yet, but like, she's just so inspiring.
A lot of people. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't want to spoil Brandon. I'm really trying to be careful.
I'm really trying to be careful.
But yeah, I mean, I talk about her all the time, so that's obvious. And I'll say I'll just keep it to 2 because there's just so many that we could talk about.
Yeah.
But just to keep it, short and sweet. I'm gonna say Garrus Vicarian from Mass Effect, the trilogy. Not a JRPG, but just in gaming in general. He's just like the friend that you'd want to have. Like, I think that encompasses his character most of all, and I just love that about it because like, he's loyal. He goes through his own like struggles that you can choose how to help him with those. And like, it kind of like affects your relationship with him over time. He's funny. He's kind of awkward sometimes. He's great, like in combat. Like, he's just such a cool, like well-rounded character. And I've just always loved kind of like the dynamic between him and Shepard. And so, yeah, he's another one.
Okay.
Right, Slam.
I think I'm gonna go Noah from
Xenoblade.
Yeah.
3.
Yep.
He's great.
I just loved that whole story arc and everything that came from like not just his character but the party and how all that storyline developed, especially when you get to like chapter 5, I think it was.
Yeah.
Just mind-blowing. Yeah, I think that's my choice. That was the first one that came to mind. Obviously, you could choose Cloud, Estelle. I liked his choices. Kratos. But
Ike is the goat.
Ike is
amazing.
Ike is him. He's awesome. So,
but I think I'm going Noah.
Okay, just one.
Good choice.
Yeah, was I supposed to choose more than one?
I mean, it just says who are your guys' GOAT characters, so you can choose more than one if you'd like.
Ooh, you go, and I will actually think of another one.
Okay. Mine is Red from the original Pokemon because that bro didn't have a dad. His mom kicked him out. He had to go fight wild monsters, and then he builds up a team and survives and takes over the elite. No, I'm just kidding. Although that would be a good argument for Red.
It really wasn't bad.
I thought he was serious. Yeah, I thought he was serious. I was like,
really make a push for that.
There you go.
Okay, classic, like Zidane and Vivi from Final Fantasy IX. Like Vivi in particular, if you've never played 9, I can't spoil this for you. But Vivi is such a special character, and there's so much depth to his story arc that is so touching, and like it'll just hit your heartstrings when you play that game, Max. When you get there.
Yep.
Zidane, same thing. As a main character, he's kind of the, like rascal, mischievous kind of character, but the way he grows and the things he learns about himself and who he is and how to overcome that, like there's just some very powerful scenes in that game that make it my personal favorite Final Fantasy, and I think it's because of the characters in that game. So they stand out to me. I mean, obviously Cloud, but like Noah's a great one. Shulk. I love Shulk and everything he goes through in the first Xenoblade. Like he's top tier. So those are, I mean, Fire Emblem. I could just don't get me started. Like this episode will become the Fire Emblem tier list if we start going down that path. But really love characters like Lynn. Really love characters like Ike. Ike is fantastic. I personally really love the lords of Fire Emblem Three Houses. I know a lot of people don't like Byleth, but Byleth to me, having played the entirety of the game, really stands out as a character, even though he's not voiced or she. Yeah, so there's a lot of really cool options there.
I'll add Ichiban
that's
because
a good
I
one.
love those games, and I think he's like the main reason I do like them.
I've heard he's like the heart of it all.
He is. Yeah. I mean, he makes those games. It's incredible. And
yeah,
he's just hilarious. Like there'd be like this worst case scenario happening, and he finds some way to be positive and upbeat about it and put some like comedic twist on everything. So yeah, I'll say Ichiban.
Oh, Ramza. I have to say Ramza. Freaking love that guy. Amazing. 10 out of 10.
10 out of
Would
10.
play again.
He's a good guy.
Again.
Yeah. All right. Let's go to the last one before we dive in. This one is from Blue Lily. Shout outs. Hey guys, since we just had National Women's Day, who are your top 3 favorite female video game characters and why? Mine are Mio from Xenoblade 3, Elaine from Tales Through Daybreak, and Aerith from Final Fantasy 7. Good picks. All 3 of these women are strong, independent, and fight for the people they love. They also aren't afraid to be vulnerable and put their hearts on the line. Girls rule. Max, go.
Oh, my girl, Blue Lily. I love this question. Although it's going to be really hard to pick 3, I'm going to try.
I could pick a bunch.
I could pick so many. So it's just hard to like even make them like a top 3. Like that's impossible, but I'll just say 3.
Yeah, just pick 3.
Yeah. So I've already talked about Estelle. So I'm going to pick 3 different ones, but just know that she's like in that running 100%. I'm also going to say Elaine from Trails. She is the only character that even comes close to Estelle in terms of my favorite Trails characters. And if you haven't played Trails Through Daybreak, she's essentially, she's also a bracer. She is a former love interest of Van, who is the protagonist. So they have kind of this like tension and history there that really culminates into some really good character interactions. But I just love Elaine because like she's kind of cold at first because of the things that have happened with her and Van, but she really has a good heart, and you slowly start to see like this facade of hers crumble, and her just allow herself to be vulnerable again. And she always has a very like strong sense of justice. She's really strong, but she isn't afraid to just like show that she's in pain and grow from that and try to, try to get out of it and heal and grow from that. And so that's just been an amazing journey, and I relate to her a lot and the things that she's gone through. And so I just love Elaine. And I think Blue Lily summed it up as she is strong, independent. She fights for who she loves. And I think that sums her up well. I would also say Mio. So I'm stealing another one of her answers, but I mean, I can't. She's one of my favorite characters, like in one of my favorite games of all time.
Top tier of all time.
Yeah, like Xenoblade 3 is like one of the best JRPGs ever. And she is one of the reasons why. Because without Mio, you don't have this game, and you don't have the story, and you don't have the impact of the story either. She's just like such an amazing character. She has such a like emotional depth throughout the story, and you see her have to grapple with the fact that like her life is ending, and like she is the oldest in the group, and so you have to see her like really face that truth, and it's so hard, but she also just carries
Having
herself
scenes
so
flash
well.
through my mind. Yep.
I know. And so and she's just, I just also love that like she's just not afraid to just like let the enemies have it, like with her words. And like I remember her like punching Mobius like in the face, and that was such a crazy moment too. But like she just has this like such an emotional depth, both from like the serious side of her like trying to, you know, deal with the fact that her life is, you know, getting shorter and shorter, but also just having like this like fun energy and like emotion too in these moments. So she's such a great balance of that. And then third, I guess I would say, gosh, there's so many. I'm going to say Commander Shepard. And like, yes, you could play as a male or female Shepherd just because of how Mass Effect is customizable. But I do think that like Shepard in general is just such a hero, and you're able to kind of like live vicariously through them in this like amazing story. And I think like in general, just to be able to see their journey from kind of this like, you know, early success story in the military to being thrust into this like all out war against the Reapers, and like this galaxy wide conflict, and how they deal with it and how they struggle, but then how they're able to just continue to have that strength. I just think she's so inspiring, and like what a life like she has, and just being able to handle all that and like forge all of these really close relationships. So I've always had a soft spot for Commander Shepard too, and just being able to kind of like see her story and kind of guide her story, and just kind of see that all unfold. So those will be my three. There's so many more, but those are the three that I'm going to mention now.
Word. All right, Slam, what you got?
I've got Velvet Crow for Tales of Berseria.
Well. Okay.
I need to play that one because I've heard she's awesome.
I think I've been playing the remaster slowly because I'm playing a million other things at the same time. But I've also played the original.
We know the truth.
I've played the original, and the remaster is very good, by the way. But it's one of the best stories in the entire series. If not, it might be the best story in Tales. It's very, very good. And I think she's just one of the best characters in the entire franchise. I've got Claire from Cold Steel.
Oh, that's interesting.
Interesting means there's something that happens later, probably, that means she's not going to be my favorite. I'm just gonna chalk that up, probably.
I do not like her, but I know a lot of people who do. So I think it's just one of those things where like you either really like her or you really don't. So we'll see where you land.
We'll see. All right. I mean, we didn't get a lot of her in Cold Steel 1 until like the very end, and I thought she had like some redeeming things happen in a Cold Steel 1. Cold Steel 2, I'm at the stage right now where she's like entered the party. And I think like her moveset is actually like gameplay style is really, really good.
Yeah, it is for sure.
So that's why she's on the list. I'm sure, according to Mags here and her reaction, that's probably going to change. And
you don't know. You might still like her. Like, there's still a lot of people who like her.
Mags unintentionally spoiling Trails just by reacting over here. Oh,
I mean, I'm just.
Oh, you do.
I've just talked to Mags so much about my Trails journey that I've learned that the way she reacts to certain things that I mention can mean very specific things. So
I need to like be more discreet.
Keeping an eye out. Maybe I put Claire on that list for that reason. Who knows? I'm
gonna have to change the way I react to things anyway.
I would also put Makoto.
Yes, I almost added her.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I almost put her on my top 3. She's so good. She's queen.
Her whole character arc is the best one in the game, So,
Yep.
I mean, yeah, that's why she's on the list.
She's awesome.
It's amazing. You know, every time you get to a Makoto part in Persona 5, you're like, what's going on?
It's peak.
What's going to happen next? Yeah, totally awesome. So those are my
All right.
3.
I am going to choose 3 that you guys did not choose, as much as I want to repeat some of them.
I know it's tough.
So I'm going to say, I feel like Tifa's an easy
I knew
answer.
he was
I'm not
gonna
gonna
say it.
Tifa. No, I'll do someone else. I'm going to say Edelgard. Maybe to everybody's surprise, who's
Okay,
played
that's
Fire
an
Emblem Three
interesting
Houses.
one. Yeah.
If you know everything, you can appreciate what Edelgard has had to deal with, what she's gone through, and what she is trying to do. I can't say any more than that without spoiling things. But that woman has got some stuff that she's trying to carry, and when you know, it's hard not to love that character, which is really interesting hearing from people who played Three Houses and did not play the Red Path, because they just have a very different perception of who she is and why she's doing what she's doing, and they have no idea. So yeah, Edelgard is a fantastic character. I'm going to say, I don't know, I want to either Lenneth or Silmeria from the Valkyrie series. I'm going to go with Silmeria. Silmeria is really interesting in Valkyrie Profile 2 because she is a Valkyrie, but she's also like, she almost possesses this other girl, and they like have conversations in her mind to like go and, you know, do this adventure. But she's a fantastic character, and the way that game goes, again, I can't spoil anything. I know it's an old game and it's stuck on the PS2, but on the off chance they ever bring back Valkyrie Profile 2, you should definitely check that one out. Silmeria is a great character. So is Lenneth. And then I'm going to say Aya Brea. We're talking about Parasite Eve. Aya Brea is amazing. Like, she's a cop. She literally the game starts with her sitting in a theater and everybody catching on fire. And she stands up and she runs towards the danger. Like that's the setup for Parasite Eve. So like Aya Brea, that girl she is awesome. So yeah, those are going to be my 3.
Good stuff.
All right. Those are
Good
great questions.
questions.
Again, if you want to join us in membership and ask these questions, we're happy to go through these every week. But without further ado, let's get into this tier list, huh?
Let's do it.
Let's go.
Excited.
All right. So to set this one up, this is not a tier list of how good these games are. We need to make that very, very, very clear. Even if a game is in a lower tier, it is not because it's a bad game. We are specifically addressing whether or not these games are good starting points for someone who is new to the genre or hasn't played that many RPGs. So we're going to be thinking about how well it represents the genre. We're going to be thinking about how easy it is to get into, mechanically, how complicated it is, et cetera, right? Those are the things we're doing this tier list based off of. So please, I don't want to hear in the comments that whatever, having X game in C tier means that we think it's a bad game or something. All of these are great games. Yeah, just wanted to
They
set
just
that
might
up
end up in C
as we
or
go
D
in.
tier based on how good they are for a beginner to approach them.
Yeah. How complicated they might be, like from a JRPG standpoint.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay.
All right. Slam, you got control, yeah?
I do.
All right, start us off, buddy.
Cool. Pretty easy win for me.
All right.
Final Fantasy X.
Mags, you don't get to give thumbs down in this one. Okay, no thumbs down for Final Fantasy X. Okay, look, I will say, to make a case for Final Fantasy X good for beginners, right? It is one of the last like Final Fantasy games that has that core Final Fantasy JRPG formula. It's also quite a bit more linear than most, and a lot of huge JRPG veterans find that as like a detractor, a negative on the game, whereas beginners might find that a way to easily approach the game, right? It does have some slightly complex stuff with the sphere grid, but
it's not that complex.
The
You just
and the
go.
remaster can like streamline it a bit.
Yeah, you just get the spheres and you go. Yeah.
So I think from a beginner perspective, it introduces you to a lot of the JRPG concepts and doesn't overcomplicate them.
So I'm gonna push back a little bit on this one, just a little, because of my experience with this one. I'm sorry, Slam. I do think it's a good one. I don't know if it's S tier. I might put it in A personally, and here's why. Because when I was a beginner to JRPGs, I was an idiot who didn't realize you should be swapping in your characters to get the most out of the battle system. So only because you have to
swap in the characters? That's why it's
so in the battle system, what I'm saying is, in some RPGs, you just have your stack. You have your tank, you have your damage dealer, you have your healer, you have your support, and you just run with it. In 10, you do have to be strategic in how you handle the battles. That being said, the remaster handles making that clear much better than the original did. So
S tier. Mags, gotta get your thoughts first. Would you put it in D tier?
No, I wouldn't. I mean, I've not finished this game. Like, I mean, I've only played, I played the beginning, maybe like first like 10 hours of it when I played it years and years ago. And I think the only thing is like, I just wasn't able to stick with it. And I was fairly new to JRPGs when I did play this one. And so I just think that I just don't know if this one like is going to grab people as much as some of the others on this list. And that's the only reason why I wouldn't put it in S. Because I feel like you want a game in S tier that's just going to like grab people and not let them go, and they'll stick with it. Or else, if they're not familiar with JRPGs, they might fall off. And I fell off of this game. And I know other people who have too. And so I'm not saying it needs to be in D tier for that reason. I'm just saying I don't know if it should be an S tier for that reason.
We might have some differing opinions here on what games grab somebody the way that Max is talking about. Yeah, because that is
subjective.
It is subjective.
Yeah.
I mean, we can't say... I mean, Final Fantasy X has a really high, rating. So it did grab the vast majority of people.
Here's the thing, though. I feel like the three of us like represent like pretty varied JRPG players overall. Like we all appreciate things about them, but we also play them in different ways. And if it didn't grab all three of us, I don't think it's going to grab everyone. So I think if we see a game on here that like we all immediately like loved and felt like it was like, it grabbed us and captured our attention, that to me feels more worthy of S tier than a game that only really was able to like sink its teeth into 2 out of 3 of us.
I mean,
drop it to A. Get it down there, Slam.
It's a good argument.
It's not a bad game. We love this game. Except
for the record,
but for beginners, I think that's a good argument.
So all you Final Fantasy X fans out there, sound off in the comments below.
Let
us know.
You can say I'm wrong.
This is an S tier.
I just want to state
10. If we get 9 comments saying Final Fantasy X should be an S tier, Mags has to play Resident Evil 9. Let's go.
I knew this was going to backfire. This is what I get for having an opinion.
I was going to say, just for the record, let the record show that even though I had minor pushback, it was Mag's pushback that made you drop this in the tier list, Slam, because all the other tier lists, I get in trouble for having you change your spot.
Yeah,
so
but don't you always get what you want,
S tier
though?
slide. He was going to let the S tier slide because he was probably going to do that.
The remaster does handle a lot of those things
to help me out because of how low it was ranked in our Final Fantasy tier list. But
okay, but Persona 5 Royal, like, slap that right into S tier.
S tier. I think we all can agree it deserves that. I mean,
I don't even know if that's an argument.
like speaking from just
Favorite
personal
game of all time.
experience, like
Oh,
not even playing Royal, like with all of its like upgrades and additional story, like vanilla Persona 5, like put me back like to playing almost exclusively JRPGs. And I think it would have that effect on other people too.
Yeah.
Just from a production standpoint, gameplay,
Yep.
story, like everything about it, like you are hooked. Like it's going to get you. So I
it
think
represents
it
the
S tier.
genre brilliantly.
Yes.
Like it shows you what a JRPG can be.
Yes.
Mechanically, it's easy to get into and understand while having depth that you can get into if you want.
It has difficulty options that let you tailor your experience, and it just looks beautiful. The music is amazing. It just has everything.
And we want to talk about games that grab you from the jump. I like that the opening sequence of this gives you a taste of what's to come with that casino.
The opening sequence is like one of the best in gaming, period.
Yeah.
So good.
So good.
So,
yeah.
I agree. Easy S tier.
Yep.
Now we've got Bravely Default Flying Fairy HD. I'm inclined. Go ahead. Okay. I'm inclined to probably put this in B tier. And I'll say because it's got some easy to approach aspects to it. I like how it introduces the job system and its flexibility there. I like the story. I think the characters are well done. The art style is beautiful. Flying Fairy HD adds some other things to it that are good quality of life stuff. But it's just not on the level of S and A tier. I just don't think it has like, we'll keep coming back to the thing with that Mags mentioned. Does it grab you? Right? Is it going to be one of those things where I'm brand new to JRPGs? I need someone to put a JRPG in front of me that's going to make me want to play 10 more.
Yeah. And I wouldn't pick that one for that reason.
Pick Bravely Default too either. I would say Bravely Default's a game that is really good if you want a modern
like classic formula kind of thing.
On the classic formula. Right. So you've played maybe Persona 5 Royal, you've played Final Fantasy X even, and you're like, I kind of want a taste of what JRPGs were like 20, 30 years ago.
Yeah.
Right. And Bravely Default will give you that.
Yeah.
And it looks good on Switch too. It plays great. So I mean, I think it's solid, it's accessible, but it is like maybe your fourth or fifth JRPG. Like if you're just now getting into the series, I think it could be something you played later.
Yeah. What do you think, Brandon? B tier or lower?
I would say B or C. Again, not because I love the Bravely Default games. I just think like of all of the games that I would recommend to someone who's new to JRPGs, like Bravely Default's pretty dang low on the list.
I don't think I would really say it.
There are a lot of games. Yeah, there are a lot of games that I would recommend before Bravely Default. Like I feel like you would have to get through, I don't know, 15 of the games in this list before I would even mention Bravely Default. So like, and the reason it would be that way for me is because it is like, it's classic, which isn't a bad thing. Obviously, I think there are some classic games like, oh shoot, do we not have Chrono Trigger in here?
We do. It's in there. It's in there.
Okay, good. Yeah, there are classic games that I would recommend out the gate. But Bravely Default, like, it's mechanically not terribly complicated, but the flow and then the difficulty curve at the end.
Yeah. You know what? That ending, was C tier. I'm with you. I almost
difficulty spikes are going to be discouraging for people.
Forgot about the ending, and that is really
because like
tough.
you can be at a point in that game where you just genuinely, like, if you're not experienced enough to know how to strategize well with the jobs, and you don't know how to think that way, like you could get to a point where you're like, I cannot beat this game. Like, unless I'm looking up some guides online and having someone else tell me what to do, like, I have no idea how to overcome some of these bosses. So, it's not one that I would recommend for
on C tier.
Yeah.
I think I'm with you on C tier.
Me too.
All right. Okay. Octopath Traveler 2, baby. Max.
Baby!
I'm gonna let somebody else recommend a tier spot for this one. It's tough for me to decide. This is one of my favorite games of all time. Love Octopath
So
Traveler
real
2.
quick, first of all, we also just want to say that for some of these games like Bravely Default, Octopath, when they're IPs that have very similar sequels, like some of these are just going to be representative of the IP itself. Like Bravely Default, I think Flying Fairy has the particular issues that I was talking about, but honestly, for all of them, it's going to be a similar challenge.
Yeah,
right?
Bravely Default 2 had a spike at the end too.
Yeah. And Octopath
Traveler
2, I feel like
I want to say that I think if you want a good introduction into some of the best music in JRPGs, and just because the Octopath Traveler 2 soundtrack is so varied, there's so many different tracks, and it's for its time was a relatively new art style. You want to experience something HD 2D. It's big. It's got a wide variety of different characters. It is challenging.
Yeah.
Right. But that's my take on it. I don't know where I'd place it, honestly.
I'd probably put it in B.
Okay. I would probably agree because it's still hard. I mean, it's not an easy game.
It is, yeah. The Octopath games can be very challenging. No, I will say we don't have the Octopath Zero on here, but Zero is slightly different, and because of the way you manage your characters, I feel like there could be a little bit more accessibility there. Really?
I think Zero, there's a lot more flexibility, but for a beginner, like Zero forces you to master its concepts by the end. Like it really does. Like it either forces you to grind for a long time or really master the whole combat system, like, and understand
that's fair
what's needed all the way down to the placement of members in your party. So I would say Octopath Traveler 0 is really friendly for the first 25 hours, not so much at hour 90.
Sure.
But
Octopath so for
Traveler
2, I put B. I think these are great games, but for someone who's new, I might be like, hey, hold off on that and get to it when you're more confident in these kinds of systems.
Yeah. I'm with you. I'm in agreement. Mags, do you oppose this placing?
No, I've not played it, so
okay,
we're good.
Expedition 33.
Expedition
baby.
33. That's S tier for me. I feel like it proved itself as S tier with the way people responded to it online. And I know what you're thinking, Mags. I saw your face.
The parry
system 33 can be hard. The parry system can be hard, but
I know a lot of people that put it down
for that. But it brought in a lot of people who are not RPG fans because of the way it sort of bridges this gap.
From my experience, it did. Between modern AAA mainstream games into JRPG mechanics. It's a good transitional game, but it should be noted that, like, I mean, some of these boss fights are tough.
Yeah, but it's not the kind of tough that's because the systems themselves are hard to understand. It's tough because they're tough.
The Pictos
didn't pick up on the Picto. You didn't pick up on like an aspect of the Pictos until you almost finished the game.
I know, but I almost finished the game.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know how I feel about this being an S tier.
But you're also Brandon.
Because of how different it is from so many other games in the genre. Like, I don't know if this, like, if someone played this and then like jumped into like a game in several of the franchises in the games in this list, they would be like, what the heck is this? It's just so different. And I don't think it can be S tier for that reason. Like,
I agree with Mags on everything she just said, because I almost said the exact same thing, but also like I introduced my brother to this, and my brother does not like JRPGs, but he plays a lot of the modern AAA titles that have like similar art style, story focus, aesthetic, characters, that kind of thing, character driven stories. And that he really didn't like the parry aspect to it. He didn't like the challenge in the turn-based combat was like reactionary, and he at times felt like it was unfair. Obviously, we got through it. We enjoyed it. I loved it. I appreciate the challenge and stuff like that, but I do know a lot of people bounced off of it for that.
Yeah.
So that's another reason.
I think that can be discouraging. And I just think that even though it could have brought in a lot of people who weren't JRPG fans, that doesn't mean that they necessarily stayed a JRPG fan after playing it, because it is so different.
So different from JRPGs.
I just don't know if it represents the genre as well as a lot of these other games and provides a similar enough experience for S tier. I'm not saying it can't be an A. I'm just, because it's a good game. I just don't know how similar it is. And so I think that hurts its case in my mind.
Of all the games included on this list, I think it's the least representative of the genre.
But so my counter argument is that I actually don't think it is the least representative. I do think there are differences, but mechanically and from a story standpoint and from a music standpoint, the reason there is even an argument as to whether or not this is a JRPG is because even though it's technically French, it is in every other characteristic a JRPG. I do think an argument could be made for the difficulty to some degree, especially with the extra stuff. I don't think getting through the main story is actually that hard. And I'm not just saying that because I'm Brandon and I grind. If we're going to go with anecdotal, like I have talked with plenty of people who were not big in RPGs who played this game, got through it just fine and loved it. Did they go beat Simon? No, but that's not the point.
Yeah.
So I do still think, like, if you're looking for a game that represents the best of what the genre has to offer, while presenting it in a way that is potentially attractive to someone who doesn't like anime games, Expedition 33 to me is S tier. And I know that may sound crazy for our audience, that someone may not like anime games, but I literally have people in my life that are so opposed to anime that if anything looks Japanese, they just won't play it, right? But they will play something like Expedition 33 and they will experience the best of what the genre has to offer, right? So I think there is a difference, but it's not in all of the core characteristics. It's just in the skin, frankly.
I know, so but that's not the point that I'm trying to make. This is a tier list for people who want to get into the genre and stay in it. And I don't think it's the game that does that specifically. Like, I think it just it is one of the best ways to experience the genre, but I don't know if someone who plays this is going to attach to the rest of the genre because of it. And that's kind of how I'm seeing this list. Like, what is a good way to get started and stick with it?
Yeah, think of it this way. Someone comes up to you, you don't know them all that well. Maybe you just started working with them or something. And they're like, hey, you're an experienced JRPG person, right? I haven't played any JRPGs before. I've seen some stuff. It kind of got my interest. Of all the JRPGs out there that anyone would unanimously recommend, what would you recommend I play? Would that game be Expedition 33?
For me, it has been Expedition 33, right up there with Persona 5.
I don't think it is.
It's fine. We can put it in A tier if you guys want, because you say that I always get what I want anyway, so that's fine. But I strongly disagree. I think it should be an S tier.
Do you think it's ahead of Final Fantasy X?
Oh, absolutely, because I think it should be an S tier. If it's going to be an A tier, it's got to be at the top.
What about you, Max? I already know your answer.
I don't know. Anyway.
Mags may be thinking Expedition 33 should be in B tier.
I think that this would belong in S tier for modern JRPGs. I don't think it belongs in S tier for beginner JRPGs, but it's fine. We can have a different perspective on that for sure.
All right.
If you let me know in the comments 9 times that Mags is
has
wrong,
to play
she
Resident
has to
Evil
stream.
I was on Mags' side. That's what's so funny about this.
I know.
I'm with you, Mags.
Yeah.
Trails in the Sky is an easy S tier for me. First chapter.
D tier.
I know Brandon's trying to get his revenge on me for this one.
33 to Trails in the Sky first chapter. We had to have those back to back. Fade just had it landed that way.
I can't believe that happened, but of course it did. No, this is an S tier for me too, especially with the remake. Obviously, I'm biased and whatever. That's fine. people can call me out for that, but it's a beautiful game. It introduces you to this overarching story and world. And like, if you like it, you can stick with the series. If you don't like it, then you can stop. But like, yeah, I just think it isn't super challenging. It has a great lead. It has a great combat system that's very user friendly and doesn't require a lot of grinding. And you can experience as much of the world as you want, or you can just play the main story. It's very accessible in either way. So it's an S tier for me.
I would agree. I think it's, like you said, not too challenging, amazing story. It has all, and this was the reason why it was my game of the year, and I actually mentioned it. It has all of the elements of a JRPG that I love.
Same.
And that's why it hit instead of Expedition 33, because I was like, everything that I look for in a JRPG, my favorite genre, Trails of the Sky First Chapter remake checks every single one of those boxes.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing characters, great story, a combat system that is actually really fun. It's got that hybrid between action and turn-based. You've got all the different towns. You've got the massive story twists. You've got just like all of the great things that you look for in a great JRPG they're there. And it's the first game in a very large series. So if you introduce someone into this and they like it, they have so many
12
other
more games to
play and get into. So I think it's a really good one to have an S tier. That's my opinion. But Brandon, I mean, Trails is his favorite game. So
I don't know why I would disagree. It's his favorite game. His favorite series. He's the biggest Trails fan.
You can put it in S if you want. I struggle saying Expedition 33 is not S tier, but Trails is S tier. And the reason is
for beginners.
Trails for beginners. For beginners. Like, listen, when I play Trails games, not having experienced Trails games and being a JRPG veteran, I still had trouble understanding some of the mechanics that they have in there with the orbment system and even the way they did the battle system. It took a minute for me, even in the remake, to get a feel for the battle system because it's very distinct from other JRPGs. I do think it represents the genre beautifully in many, many, many ways. But it's like a slow burn. It's a different structure than a lot of RPGs. Like, if you want to say that Trails first chapter is a good introduction to Trails, then obviously. If you want to say that it's S tier for JRPGs in general, Trails is mechanically and structurally distinct from almost everything else on this list. So if you want to make a distinction argument for something like Expedition 33, I would have a hard time saying that Trails is a representative of the genre differently. I don't know. You could put it in S. I don't think I'm going to win this argument, but I think if Expedition 33 is A tier, like, I think to be consistent, this would have to be A tier as well.
Mags, you want to scrap it out?
Not really.
I already said you could put it in S, so
I mean, I think it belongs in S. I think it's just a better all-around representation of the genre for a beginner than Expedition 33. And I think that I just think all around it just provides a better picture of what the genre is. But I know that can be subjective depending on the person. I just think that it doesn't have as big of a challenge as Expedition 33. And I just think, like, if we are looking at like classic JRPG systems and like tropes and I don't know, just aspects of the games, I feel like Trails fits that mold more personally. So
can we put it behind Persona?
Yeah.
Okay. There we go. S tier. That's for you, Brandon.
Ni no Kuni.
Everybody's so happy. All right. Ni no Kuni, Wrath of the White Witch. I think this is a really beginner-friendly game.
Yeah. This is S tier for me.
Yeah. I think when we're looking at beginner-friendly games, I think we can all agree that one of the most beginner-friendly JRPGs, more welcoming, heartwarming, just overall feel good stories. I think Ni no Kuni is one of the best at introducing you to all kinds of cool mechanics that aren't overly complicated, and the story is great, kind of the main focus, but it's just genuinely fun. So, and it's not overly long, it's not overly complex, it doesn't do anything weird or crazy. It's just a good JRPG.
No, but if you want to and you get into it, you can do things with the monsters you can catch what are they called again?
Familiars.
But this one you have your like classic RPG storytelling with the music and the overworld, like the world map kind of a thing. And like this gives you a lot of what the genre was built on while presenting it in a way and providing a story that's really, really good. This is like so beginner friendly that I would say, like, if I was introducing my kids, for example, or like younger people to JRPGs, like Ni no Kuni would be
a good
one of the first ones. Yeah, because it's so easy to get into. So, yeah.
Mags,
I've not played it.
You've not played it.
But I mean, I think that if y'all both feel that it is that friendly, it should go there.
Yeah, I think it's up there with like Pokemon in terms of like accessibility, right? Like in terms of like stepping in and being able to play it without any hand-holding explanation or anything like that whatsoever. Like that's Ni no Kuni. You could just dive into this one.
Cool. Dragon Quest 11. Mags, have you played this one? I can't remember.
I played about 20 hours and fell off
of it. I don't think it's as beginner friendly as, I mean, I would probably even put 7 Reimagined before it for beginners. But the reason I say that is there's certain, number one, it's incredibly long. It's like 100 hours and it kind of feels like 100 hours. I mean, it's not like, I don't want to sound like I'm negative on it because it is probably it's my favorite Dragon Quest game. But Dragon Quest 11S has points where you hit some difficulty spikes like we have with Bravely Default, and then 2, you've got points in that game where it's kind of hard to figure out what you're supposed to do. And that has been kind of a wide complaint about Dragon Quest 11, if there is any, is that there's certain like markers in the game where it's like, oh, well, I kind of just got lost or fell off because I didn't really know what I was supposed to do or how to progress the story or where to go. And that does happen a couple times. It's not like super frequent, but there's probably 2 or 3 times in the game where it's kind of tough to figure out what's going on and where you need to go to do something. Also, it's not overly difficult. It's definitely not. But I would say it's a bit more challenging, like to really get into everything it has to offer. You could definitely miss some things if you're not using a guide, for example. But that's just my thoughts. I'd probably put it at the back of A, maybe front of B.
I disagree with a lot of that, actually. I think Dragon Quest as a series, and if we could use this as if we can just say for the sake of argument that we are saying this is the best Dragon Quest game. Dragon Quest as a series is like quintessential JRPG.
Absolutely.
And maybe this is just me, but I don't remember there being any major difficulty spikes in Dragon Quest XI.
They're not major. I mentioned comparable to Bravely Default. They're not. They're definitely not on that level. But we're talking about beginners here, right? People that aren't going to know to like grind and do all the things that you need to do to like set you up perfectly for like the next boss fight, perhaps. You know what I mean? Where I'm just trying to keep in mind someone that doesn't have experience with JRPGs and their systems, right?
Well,
Dragon
sure,
Quest, a lot of games,
but
I only think and one of my main criticisms of Reimagined was that it was the only Dragon Quest game I played that didn't do this well, was that it didn't utilize all of the systems it had to offer throughout. And I think Dragon Quest 11 does an amazing job at that. But if you're a beginner, you really have to pour yourself into that.
Yeah, but there's a difference though between like a beginner and someone who is dumb. Like if you're a beginner, like if I was talking to someone who never played JRPGs, I would actually recommend 11S as one of my top games recommended as a representative of the genre on modern consoles.
It is a good one as a representative
like,
of JRPGs for sure.
I don't think the systems. So I guess this is where I'd make the distinction, right? If the systems are so complicated that you really have to have a feel for the genre to get it, like Xenoblade, for example.
Yeah,
right.
For sure.
I love those games, but I can recognize that like having that as a first go, that's going to be rough. Whereas Dragon Quest, yeah, you might have to do some grinding, but that shouldn't be a point of confusion for someone who's a new player unless they've like never touched a video game in their life, right? Like if we're talking that level of beginner, sure. But if you've played games before, you know, if I go against X thing and die, I need to do better in some way. And you should know by that point in the game that you can level up, right? So like, I don't think that's a major hurdle to overcome as far as this one being like representative or a good recommendation for someone who's new. Like an argument could be made that it is long, right? So you got to know what you're getting into. I think an argument could be made that for some people they did fall off because the story doesn't pick up till, you know, X amount of time in.
It's pretty slow.
It is a slow start. Yeah.
It's a slow burn, right?
Mm-hmm.
But like a lot of these other games that we're going to recommend or have already recommended are slow burns. So that's a part of the genre that I don't necessarily think that we should shy away from. So I think it's definitely A tier.
I might be reading
minimum.
too much in to the beginner aspect. I would definitely recommend it to somebody who wanted to get into JRPGs. The only deterring factor for me, you know, might be the length, but you know, we have Persona 5 Royal in there, which is also 100 hours. I mean, these games are pretty close to the same length. I don't think Dragon Quest 11 is on the level of Royal, just from a quality standpoint.
No, I don't either.
No. I don't think it's all that close even. But so I think that the 100 hours that Persona 5 Royal gets you is a better 100 hours than Dragon Quest 11. So I don't know. Where would you put it?
I don't think this could go, in my mind, this wouldn't go any lower than A tier as far as an introduction. Like I think Dragon Quest in general is a really, really good franchise, especially for new players, unless you're talking like the original.
Yeah, back in the day.
Because
and even one and two, the remakes are even improve on that from an approachability standpoint.
Right.
Especially with like Draki mode and things like that.
Yep.
Where do you want it in A tier? You made a good case, so I'm going to defer to you.
We could stick it in the back for now. That'd be fine.
Trials of Mana, baby.
Trials of Mana, baby.
I think there's another game in the Mana series that's on this list that I think is a little bit better.
I agree.
I mean, it's an easy game. It's not very long. It's fun.
Mm-hmm.
Do I think it's representative of JRPGs that well? Not near as much as a lot of these games we've been talking about. We have a good front-loaded list of games there up at the front, right? So that, especially with that perspective, it's hard for me to like put Trials of Mana up very high.
Is it better or worse than Bravely Default?
So Bravely Default's only as low as it is because it can be pretty tough, right?
I think it
Trials
should go higher
of Mana
than Bravely Default.
is not tough at all ever. It's just not that great. Like if somebody was to come up to me and be like, "Hey, what's a good JRPG for me to get into JRPGs? I don't think they're going to come away from Trials of Mana like you've listed, Mags, and be like, I want to play a bunch more JRPGs because it was so good. I would probably put this on C tier.
Yeah, it's pretty niche.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm just thinking about it, just in terms of like emotional instinct. It would never be in the first 10 that I recommended.
Yeah,
No,
never.
same.
Like I think it's a fun game, but yeah, like I wouldn't be going out of my way.
Yeah, because I think it's easier.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Kingdom Hearts 2.
Ooh, okay, listen. I know Kingdom Hearts gets crazy. But if we're talking Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2 and, Chain of Memories for Max,
I should have put that like bundle of all the Kingdom Hearts.
Listen,
yeah.
I don't need to. Don't shade me.
But
I was a child.
2
I didn't know better.
It's my favorite. I think
Kingdom
Hearts
2 is
the
definitely like the best representative. I think Kingdom Hearts it's as approachable as you can get. To be fair, it's action, action RPG, so like it's a different subgenre, if you will. But like you have Final Fantasy and you have Disney, right?
Yeah.
Disney is already super approachable, but you have the Final Fantasy flavor to get you into that side of things.
Mm-hmm.
The combat is amazing. The story is really, really good. Like I like this, to me, Kingdom Hearts, especially 1 through 2, like 3 is fine, but the 1 and 2 package, like that to me is S tier. Like again, for me, when I'm thinking about my kids, I'm like, they love Disney and they know I love Final Fantasy. So Kingdom Hearts is like, as soon as I can introduce them to Kingdom Hearts, I will. Like
I would only say that like the story gets so
well, that's why I'm stopping at 2. I'm stopping at 2 because if you just do 1 Chain of Memories and 2, that story is understandable. Once you start getting off onto all of the other stuff that Kingdom Hearts did, then it starts
completely ambiguous.
Yeah.
Where do you think we place it? You want it in an S tier?
Yeah, I'd put
Max,
it above
have you played Kingdom Hearts?
Probably.
I've not played 2, but like I
just
played
in the series as a whole.
Yeah, I've played some of 1 and I've played all of Chain of Memories, and I think they're pretty approachable. I think just the Disney element in general is going to be appealing to a lot of people, and is going to, want to like convince people to stick with it. I guess if they start the game, like they're going to want to see these Disney worlds come to life and like be a part of those stories. So I would personally probably say like the top of A, but like if we wanted an S tier, I'm fine with it.
I think I'd put it at the top of A too, just because I like when I think of S tier, like I really do think it should be reserved for like, I mean, these should be the best of the best games to recommend anyone and everyone to play. I don't know, man. Kingdom Hearts is that.
Yeah, I was gonna say like I would put it above Ni no Kuni, honestly. Like
yeah, I think so too.
In S tier, I think Kingdom Hearts like deserves that spot, especially because of the Disney thing. Like
I think Max,
in terms
if you
of
played Kingdom
approachability,
Hearts
right?
2, I think you probably agree with us.
That's fair. I mean, if y'all both wanted an S, that's fine.
Yeah.
We got Chrono Trigger.
Chrono Trigger.
Have we all played this one, Mags? Have you played Chrono? No.
Not
all right. I mean, it's one of the greatest games of all time, Brandon. It's definitely, I think it still needs a remake. I think it holds up as good as it gets for retro games. I do think it's one of the better retro games that holds up that you can go back to today and still have a great time. It's not really janky or anything like that, but I don't know.
My heart and my mind are wrestling with this one. My heart says S tier.
I know your heart says. My mind also says probably A.
Here's the reason why. My mind is saying that too. The reason why is because I have had conversations with people who are like me and love this game from back in the day who never touched it before and got into it and said, I don't get it. Right. And so I think
Or
there's
they'll
an
be like, "Oh,
element
it's
in
so
which,
overrated," because they go in with such high expectations, and they're
right,
like, "This was all right." You know?
Yeah.
right. So I think what it does well is the story is amazing, the characters are amazing, the music is amazing. It's like top tier in that sense, and the pacing is really, really good in this game. Like most people don't realize how quickly you can beat Chrono Trigger and how many other endings and options you have in Chrono Trigger. So like if you lock in, it doesn't take long to get through and experience that game, and your choices matter. Like there was all of these mechanics that you could not take for granted back then, right? But those mechanics have been improved upon over time. So personally, if someone is interested in getting into the genre but starting with classics, Chrono Trigger would be one of the first that I would recommend.
Yeah.
But generally speaking, if you are not looking for a classic, then
And to add to that, I also think that Square specifically has done a great job of bringing that classic formula to more modern games that are easier for me to recommend. So, I mean, I would probably put it in front of Dragon Quest XI, behind Final Fantasy X. Final Fantasy X to me is,
that
I mean,
hurts.
I like it even better than
hurts.
Chrono Trigger. I mean, like, you know, you cannot bury Final Fantasy X again.
Okay, 10 is in the A tier, bro. Calm down. I personally would put Chrono Trigger at the top of A tier.
In front of Expedition 33.
Yeah.
Well, maybe you should put it between Expedition 33 and 10 as a compromise.
I would say as a representative of the best that retro JRPGs have to offer, Chrono Trigger is my first recommendation.
I'm not going to argue with it. I like the way it looks. Okay. So we're going to roll with it.
All right.
This one's an interesting one. Let's go Pikachu and Eevee. So we put this here because it is one of the most approachable games that exists on the planet, to be honest.
It's very easy.
I mean, my daughter played this when she was super, super young. One of the first games she ever played. And she just rolled through it. And for people like me, it's a great throwback to the originals. I liked how they had the little Pokeball accessory that you could go and throw and then like carry a Pokemon in. I thought that was cool. My daughter loved
Came with
that.
you.
Yep. And that was awesome. I just don't think mechanically it gives you a lot for like someone. If anyone above the age of 12 wanted my opinion on what they should play to get into the genre, it wouldn't be these games. I think it's good for people like us where it's that special throwback, it's that nostalgia piece. I think it's good for kids as like an introductory to just games in general, and the concept of just playing video games. But as like if we're looking for JRPGs, the genre, newcomers to the genre, I don't think it's representative of that very well. I'd probably have it in B tier just for how approachable it is, but I just don't think it gives you a lot from that perspective.
Yeah,
this one's hard for me.
I feel that way too, especially because we are going to talk about like another Pokemon game as well. And this one, I mean, I just don't know if it really like boils down the JRPG experience as well as like other Pokemon games or even other games on this list. Like you could play this, and then if you jumped into another JRPG, it would be like a completely different experience and probably more complex. So I just think like it could be a fun game to play, but for a JRPG beginner who wants to play more of the genre, I don't know if this is going to really help you like assimilate into that after
and it
playing.
might even dissuade you from playing JRPGs.
Yeah, because it just could be like, oh, are they all kind of like in this pattern, like this simple? Like I
think it could be misleading. I think it could be misleading from you.
So I disagree on that front, but I generally agree with what you guys are saying. So here's what I sit. Um, I think the argument out of putting this really high is the fact that I think other Pokemon games are just better.
Yeah, for
Better
sure.
better as an introductory. Where I disagree is like I think about my mom, for example. My mom, who is not only new to the genre, but who has never played the kinds of games that I've played ever at all. Like she's been doing Candy Crush and stuff like that, right? Pokemon in general was a game series that introduced her to turn-based combat, and elemental advantages and experience and leveling up and stats, right? So fundamentally, I think if you're introducing someone like at the lowest level to the mechanics of JRPGs, like Pokemon, there's really no franchise that does it better than Pokemon. But I do think that Let's Go Eevee and Let's Go Pikachu are distinct enough that like I would rather recommend another Pokemon game, right? So my daughter did play this one, but then when I was introducing my mom, she picked up Brilliant Diamond, and she not only figured out how to play that, but she like really got through that one, really understood it. She picked it up, and that kind of introduced her to some of the mechanics. So that I can now say, now that you understand turn-based combat, there are other RPGs that expand that out so that there is a party, like Final Fantasy, for example. But it's the same general concept. You're leveling up, they get skills, they have different advantages and disadvantages, and then you can just sort of go from there, right? So all of that to say, for Let's Go Eevee in particular, I would probably put it lower, but I would struggle to put it too low just because of its accessibility. Like everybody,
I just don't think it's an
including 4
A
and
tier.
5-year-olds
I just don't
play it.
think it's an A tier game.
No, but I couldn't see it going below B.
Yeah, I was putting it in B.
Okay.
That's where I had it. Are we all in agreement?
That's fine. Yeah.
Pokemon, it's just hard because like Pokemon's weird in this like genre in general. Like as genre nerds that talk about this stuff, Pokemon always is kind of like in its own realm. Even from a YouTube audience standpoint in general, it's kind of in its own realm, right? Like if you're a JRPG channel and you drop a Pokemon video, it's probably not going to do very well, right? Because Pokemon's kind of its own thing. So I recognize that, but like it's hard not to recommend Pokemon games because they work for everybody. That's why they do so well, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So we got Sea of Stars next, and I'm not someone who's like super high on this game. I put it here. We have it on the list, I think, because Brandon was the one who recommended it. I do think it's beginner friendly. It definitely pulls a lot of mechanics from Chrono Trigger, just doesn't do any of them as well. I think the story is just okay. I would put this pretty low, to be honest, in my personal opinion.
Honestly, I like it much more than you do. I think you're too down on it, Slam, but it's also not. I love this game, but again, it's like not going to be one of the first that I recommend to someone. Like if someone was like well into their journey and they're like, man, I want something that's kind of classic feeling, like Sea of Stars would be up there for a recommendation. But outside of someone having a particular craving, it's probably not going to be the first in a recommendation for me either, as much as I personally love the game.
So where do you have it? I'd probably put it in C tier.
Yeah, I'd say top of C, probably.
Top of
C.
C.
That too. Yeah.
I don't even think it's top of C, but I'll do that for you.
I would recommend Sea of Stars over Trials of Mana any day. I love Trials of Mana, but yeah.
Now we have Tales of Grace's F. Have we all played this
Trails of Grace's F.
No. Is Mag shaking her head at Brandon's nonsense or because she haven't played it?
Both.
Oh, okay, cool. Both. Got it. Thank you.
No, I'm happy to talk about Tales of Arise, but I've not played this one. So
I played it for the first time this year when it came out on the Switch. I played And I actually kind of fell in love with it. I really didn't. This was the Tales game that really appealed to me the least for a long time, because I just I wasn't feeling the aesthetic. And I felt like the story wasn't something that would draw me in, but I was wrong. Story is amazing. Characters are really special. The game has a lot of backtracking toward the end that I really didn't like. Mechanics still feel a little bit dated. The remaster improves a lot. I think it's very beginner friendly. I think it has, like, as far as Tales games go, I think it's one of the easier ones, from a mechanical standpoint.
Especially with the remaster, because you can use all of the goodies and stuff.
I would say this is probably B tier for me.
Yeah, I'd say, Brandon? For me personally, I'd say B or A. Like, I think Tales, probably B in practice. Tales is like a good franchise to start with for someone who's new.
It is true, yeah.
Because Tales, I can't think of a Tales game that feels overly complicated personally. They're all pretty straightforward. Like, they have similar formulas. Like, you get, your stories, your characters. Personally, this is probably my favorite of the, I don't know if you want to call them classic Tales games. I think Tales of Graces just hits in a way that I didn't expect, like you were saying, Slam. So yeah, probably I think B is a fair spot. Like, it'd be one of those, like, hey, if you've hit some of the big hitters already and you want to explore different IPs, then like try Tales, and of the Tales games, I would recommend Tales of Graces and a few others.
Where do you put it? Where do you think?
Definitely above Let's Go Eevee.
I would put it behind Octopath.
Yeah, I would struggle to recommend it above Octopath 2 because I really love Octopath.
Yeah, I think Octopath just offers a lot more.
Yeah.
So, Super Mario RPG, I mean, you guys know I'm not the hugest fan of the Mario RPG games. I think this is the one I like the most of all of them, but I just think they're not very representative of the genre, to be honest. Just a turn-based Mario game. C tier.
Oh man, I was thinking A.
What?
A or higher? Yeah.
We're thinking like people that wanted to get in the JRPG genre, not people that want to play Mario.
No, but this is a really so here would be my reasoning for this, right? Super Mario RPG, the remake is amazing. It's classic. It's straightforward. It's short. Like, you can beat this game in like 10 hours. If you want to get a taste for like what turn-based combat is like, and they have elements in their turn-based combat for defending and attacking that are like very pared down systems from like Expedition 33. You have a parry system. You have extra damage that you can do if you time it right. So there's a bunch of those mechanics in there, and it's humorous. It's fun. It's easy to get into. It's easy to get out of. This isn't a 100-hour RPG. Like, if I was talking to my mom and I was like, okay, you want a like simplified real JRPG, like, this would represent it mechanically perfectly, and you're not spending 40 to 100 hours in this game. So it's not my favorite in the list by any means. I do love this game, but it's not anywhere close to most of the games on the list. But if we're talking about for beginners, it would be really hard for me to put Super Mario RPG very low, because like it is like the quintessential beginner game.
I can't put it in a JRPG tier list as an A tier game. I can't do it. I just don't feel like it. I mean, it has some similar mechanics to JRPGs, but I just don't feel like it represents the genre in any other way. It just does not feel. I mean, when I think of JRPGs, I think great stories, great characters, amazing soundtrack, good mechanics with some depth to them. Super Mario RPG has like none of that. Like, if I'm,
it's definitely got some of that. Also,
Is the spectacular story of Super Mario RPG going to be why it gets 8s and 9s? No,
but
dude.
again, it's not a 100-hour epic, dude. Like it's a good, fun story. You have fun going through it. You'll enjoy the experience. You'll understand what you can get in a very compact experience. It's like a JRPG appetizer, right?
The
like
soundtrack
if you want to taste.
Soundtrack leans more Mario than RPG. Aesthetic leans more Mario than RPG. Story leans more Mario than JRPG. The only thing that leans JRPG, Brandon, is the combat. That is it. I can't come here and be like, here, somebody comes to me and was like, I'm looking for a JRPG to get me into the genre. Show me something that has the best of the best of what the genre has to offer, but is also not too complicated. Super Mario RPG is not going to get recommended, not even once out of 100
Well,
times.
again, if you're talking about a beginner and you want to get them a taste for the mechanics in a fun package that will give them a feel for what they're getting, and then you can say you're going to get something much more epic than this, but this is not going to take you very long. Again, this game took me 10 hours to beat. Like nothing else in the genre can touch that. So if you are just giving someone an introduction, an appetizer to what the genre has to offer, like I can't see why this would be anywhere below B or C.
We can do B. We can do the back of B.
I think it's the back of B at the absolute best. Yeah. That's as high as it can go.
We'll do that for you, Brandon.
I don't know. I can understand like it being like an intro, like your freshman course of JRPG in this game, like your intro class into whatever major you're majoring in. But after like it,
so
I don't think it
for
really
beginners is what you're saying.
No, well, let's go back to something you said earlier, Brandon. I wasn't done. You go ahead and continue, Max.
I just don't think it really represents what the genre like truly is. So yes, you could get like a very small glimpse into it, but like you're not going to get the full experience. So in a way, it can be maybe a bit misleading if someone does not know anything about JRPGs and they play this. They're not going to get a similar experience for the most part playing other games. So it just depends on your perspective as far as like what you think a beginner should start with. So I think, and that's fine. So I'm fine with it there.
I think when we think about this, we have to think about it in a multitude of ways, right? And something you said earlier, Brandon, these people are beginners. They're not dumb. And sure. I want to, like, if somebody's a beginner to JRPGs, I really want to introduce them to the genre and have the game feature great versions of what make the genre special and why many of us resonate with the genre, right? I don't want to see it as like, let's just recommend the easiest games. I want easy games that are easy, approachable, not too complex, but also feature incredible soundtracks, also feature character-driven stories, also feature great aesthetics, and that lean heavily into what the genre has to offer as a whole, right? You look at all of these games in this list, Super Mario RPG is the outlier. It doesn't relate, like the core of this game and what it has to offer a JRPG fan does not connect to any of the other games on this list.
I disagree, but we can move on.
Fair enough.
I think it's a good gateway drug game for someone who has played other types of games, enjoy those other types of games, and want something that leads them in that direction, right? Like if you take someone who is a Mario fan or has played other Nintendo games and you slap any of our top tier games in front of them, like it's going to be an adjustment. If you take someone who's played these other games and you give them Super Mario RPG, you are lessening that adjustment in a compact format because it's a short game while introducing them to some of the mechanics, and that can lead them towards some of these other things. So
and that's why it's in B tier and not A tier, in my opinion. I think like S and A really have to be set aside for Like, these are the best of the best. This represents the genre really well. You're going to come away from these games and either you're going to know I like JRPGs or this genre is not for me. And I just don't think that you're going to come away from Super Mario RPG and really know whether you are going to like JRPGs or not. You might say, I want to experience like a real JRPG now because I got a taste of turn-based combat and really liked it. But I just don't think you're going to come away and be like, yeah, this genre is it. This is what I love. You know?
Sure. Fair enough.
Mags, this is one I know you've played.
Yeah.
You reviewed it in your magazine, Nintendo Force magazine. Shout out.
Yeah.
Shout outs.
Shout out.
I didn't bring it up here. I got the latest issue. I got it today.
Nice. Love to hear
and
that.
We both played it at the same time, really.
Yeah,
and we had very, very similar opinions on it. I think it's very approachable. I think it's a good JRPG for most of it. Yeah. I'm obviously furious about the end of it, but what do you think, Max?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's solid. I think that it's very easy to get into. They don't, there is a lot going on, but they don't make any of the mechanics like super difficult. So like if you enjoy the combat, it's very simple. If you like to farm, because it is kind of like a JRPG / farming sim experience, the farming is fun. You can customize it as much as you want, but you can also automate it through some of the systems as well. So it really lets you tailor your experience. I would probably put it in B because even though I think it's a solid experience overall, I don't know if it's necessarily like captures the essence of like a true JRPG because it has like a lot of other gameplay elements going on. That's not to say that it isn't a good game, but I think that it's easy to get into. It has JRPG systems, but I do think that it has a little bit more going on overall, and that could either help people or hurt people as far as like seeing what a JRPG is and being able to kind of replicate that experience in other games if they choose this one first. So
I would agree.
I would put it at B.
I would put it at B too. I might put it higher, but I just think, there's a lot of systems going on and the ending of the game is just not that good.
I think this one, like, to use the argument you just made, Slam, I'd say this would probably go above Super Mario RPG and no higher for me personally. Like I this agree. Game, it's a good game. It's fun. Mechanically, it is not really giving you a good sense of like JRPG battle systems. Like it's really, really basic watered down action combat. Yeah. And it's
got elemental good, stuff to it, but it's all very
it's simple.
And it's kind of an interesting niche because like the Rune Factory games are kind of their own thing. They're like JRPG adjacent almost. So definitely worth playing if you're like into farming sims and stuff like that. But I would say I don't think this one necessarily represents JRPGs
genre perfectly.
Yeah.
I agree. We're all in agreement for the first time in a while. All right. That's what do you mean?
We've been in agreement this entire time.
That's why we love us, man. Xenoblade Chronicles. This is
tier
because we all love Xenoblade Chronicles. It's one of the best series ever made. Like it's just so good. And we know so many of our viewers are diehard Xenoblade Chronicles fans. We had to have some representation of Xenoblade Chronicles in this beginner's list. Look, there's always going to be a beginner out there that sets their goals to the sky. They're like, look, I ain't no punk. Give me something complicated. Give me something that I'm going to have to learn, but is also just a good representation of JRPGs in general, right? So this is not going to be super, super high, even though we'd love it to be, because it's still pretty complex. It's a long game. It's got a lot of complex systems, got a lot of things you got to get used to, and you really have to, it's challenging at certain spots. And we have Xenoblade Chronicles 1 on here, probably because it's like
the definitive edition is like the best place to start.
Yeah, it's the best place to start. It's also not as complex as say like, Xenoblade Chronicles 2 and 3 layer in a ton of other mechanics.
It's rough. Yeah.
I would say, man, I have a hard time placing this. Like Like,
Yeah.
maybe the back of A, front of B.
I don't think we need to put it any lower than, it can't be lower than Tails.
Tails of, yeah, it
No,
definitely can't.
I was thinking top of B, and here's how I'm thinking about it. Like, if I have already recommended S and A tier, I feel comfortable recommending Xenoblade.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like, if you can play S and A tier, you should be fine.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
And it's the best of B tier, right? The only reason it's in B tier is because
it's challenging.
It's more challenging. Yeah.
There's just a lot
There's
of
a lot
systems.
of stuff going on.
You could get stomped if you go too far out into the plains and you don't know what you're doing. It's just, there's a learning curve to that
you
one.
go to that nice little area where there's a treasure chest and then a giant, level 50 spider comes out and attacks you. Right. Yeah.
The best part. All right. Pokemon Fire Red, Leaf Green.
Again, for me, it's hard because I know it's not on the same level in terms of quality as some of our S tier stuff, but in terms of just like beginners, if for some reason you've never played a Pokemon game before and you've never played a JRPG, like Pokemon is almost like the best place to start. Like, play this, get the mechanics. It's where we all started. Yeah.
I think it's S tier. I don't think. I mean, it is where we all started, and look at us now. It just has all of the basics to it, and if you can learn to play it, then you'll have an easier time with other JRPGs.
Are we good with behind Kingdom Hearts 2, or does it need to be in front of it?
This guy doesn't want to put it in front of Persona.
Oh, that's not happening. And I know Mags is not going to want to put it in front of Trails. Do we put it in front
Listen, I am not going to win this argument, but if you're talking about a true beginner list, it should be at the top of the list. Pokemon is literally where we all started. And I can say for certain that for anybody that I've talked to that has never touched anything like these, Pokemon is where I would start them because it is the basic place to get the basic mechanics.
Yeah, but is it where you would start everyone?
Yeah, I'm not saying it's a better game. Please hear me. It is not anywhere close to these other two games.
I wouldn't start everyone on it.
But I'm saying for a beginner's list, if you have never touched, like a true beginner, if you've never touched these systems at all, like Pokemon is the starting place. Whereas Persona 5, like I'm thinking about, again, my mom, right? If I started my mom with Persona 5 Royal, like if she could get through it, she would appreciate the story. But there is no way she could pick it up the way that she picked up Pokemon. There's no way. Not even close. And like when she was playing Pokemon, she was still struggling with some of those mechanics. Like it took her a minute to figure it out.
He's not wrong. He's not wrong.
I just think with the way that games are now and the way that JRPGs are now, I don't know if it is like the absolute best thing to recommend someone first. I just don't. Maybe it would have been 15 years ago. It's not now. I'm sorry. I just don't think so.
I think, and I'm sitting here right in the middle of both of y'all. Because I agree, Mags. Like something has to be Pokemon Fire Red. It's still an old game.
Sure. And to be fair, we're using this to kind of represent Pokemon in general.
Pokemon in general, right? It
the main line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
2, Pokemon at its core is still a collecting game. Like that is the main loop. That is the draw, right? There's plenty of people that like JRPGs that don't like Pokemon because they're not into that collecting aspect of it.
Well, typically they don't. If they're into JRPGs and they don't like Pokemon, it's because Pokemon's too easy and basic for them. Like they've gone past that. But that kind of makes the point.
If we're introducing people to JRPGs, introducing them to a game where the core mechanic is like a monster collecting game, are we doing them a disservice?
I don't think it. Like again, thinking about family members that I've introduced the games to. I don't think it's doing them a disservice.
But have those family members moved on to other JRPGs specifically? You introduce your mom to Pokemon, right? And she, played Pokemon, loved Pokemon. Is she playing Final Fantasy X? Is she playing Persona 5 Royal?
She's tinkered with Fire Emblem and Final Fantasy. And I say tinkered not because she's not interested, but because she's busy.
Right.
So
I don't know. I think I'd have a hard time putting it ahead of like the top tier of the genre. I think like those are recommended because it's like you want something that's going to help you fall in love with JRPGs, then
sure.
These are the ones. But I'm with you, Brandon. All your points are valid, and that's why it's going to be an S tier, and it's going to sit right behind the like two of the best JRPGs that I've ever played.
Fine. I mean, listen, one of the difficulties about doing this kind of tier list in general is what we mean by beginner can be very different, right? We've already kind of hit this unintentionally in a number of different ways, right? It could be you've never touched a game before, so you're a true beginner. It could be you have very, very little experience with games and have never touched these systems before. Or it could be, I'm a gamer, I'm just not into JRPGs, in which case you should be able to pick things up pretty quickly because you generally know how games function. And those audiences could be very, very different. So I think it's fair.
Okay. Final Fantasy 16.
D tier. Just kidding.
We all like it. I mean, I know Brandon, you're fond of 16 too, right?
Yeah. I mean, I've cooled on it a little bit over time as I've thought about it, but I did think it was a really good game, and I did
Max,
love
you played this one too?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I thought you played this one.
Yeah.
I think it's a great story. Mechanics are pretty simple. Some good action-based combat system that's not overly complicated. The boss fights are amazing. I wanted to put it here as like a nice cinematic representation of the genre.
That's true. It's a good point.
I would, I'm not going to put it super high, but I'd probably put it in like B tier.
I'd probably put it in B as well.
Yeah.
Where are we thinking in B?
Above Tails.
she's like, if she puts everything above Tails, she's like, yeah, that's like the divide. That's like the dividing line.
I feel like what's actually happening is Sea of Stars, Trials of Mana, and Bravely should be in D, and then Trails and Below should be in C. Is kind of how this is functioning right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tails and behind in C, and then those.
Yep.
I mean, do we move them?
I think we should. I think we struggle. We struggle in tier list to put anything in the lowest tier, and we should just commit to the fact that we are acting as if that's the case right now.
Yeah, that's fine with me. All right.
Yeah.
There we go. A little bit more balanced, I think.
Yeah.
There we go.
We got some movement, folks. If you're still here, you're a real one. Monster Hunter Stories 2. We got Monster Hunter Stories 3 coming. Yeah, baby.
Right? Let's go.
Let's go. We're all hyped for Monster Hunter Stories 3. We've all played Monster Hunter Stories 2. We all love Monster Hunter Stories 2. It's incredibly approachable. I think it's got a great aesthetic. It's got a cool story. The mechanics aren't overly complicated. It's a good introduction to monster collecting and turn-based combat. I'd probably put this in A tier.
I would too. I'd probably put it at the back.
Yeah, that's
what I was
thinking.
It has more of like a story and like characters as well. So I feel like it's just a little bit more well-rounded in what it offers. And so I would be fine with it. And I think it's like, in terms of approachability, it's more approachable than like what's in B. And I think that would bump it up to the back of A.
Yeah, that's true. I think personally, I would not be recommending it on the same tier, but I think objectively it's much more approachable and gives you a good sense than like Xenoblade, as much as I love Xenoblade.
Yeah, there's no way.
Yeah.
All right, the next one.
Resident Evil
Requiem, baby.
What?
Should not be in the list.
Oh, put that top of S tier, Slam.
Yeah,
let's go,
dude. That's Mags' next game.
Yeah,
get that out.
It.
Put that away.
Highest recommendation.
Put that away.
It's not a JRPG.
Look, I had to throw that in there for the Discord community. We've all been begging Mags to play this game. maybe one day. But
Maybe one day.
It's obviously not a JRPG, and it's obviously not for beginners. So it's just going to sit there for all of you that get the inside joke.
Mhm.
You know what? Square Enix, if you're not only watching this, but you're still here, Parasite Eve could be on this list. If
It
you
could
would
have been.
just bring it back and not ruin it. I'm just saying.
Let's do that.
Just saying.
Yep.
All right.
All right. SMT5 Vengeance. We had this here
Ooh.
for representation of the SMT series. This is probably the most challenging game on this list.
I think it's got to be in D just for that reason alone.
I think it's like overly complicated. It's got some really challenging boss fights. A lot of the time you're going to be lost on what you're supposed to do. It's going to force you to use all the mechanics. This is not really a very beginner friendly game. And I just don't think any SMT game is really meant for beginners.
Mhm.
But it's representation of the series. And if you're a beginner in JRPGs and you're wondering, hey, I've heard everything about this SMT series, should I jump in? The answer is not until you play everything in front of it.
That
I'd
sums
put
it
it at
up
the bottom of D. Yeah. Which honestly hurts because it's so much better than the other games in that tier. I'm like, oh, remember what this is for.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just don't start with that one, folks.
Digimon Story Time Stranger. Am I the only one that's played this?
I played the demo. Like I played some of it, but not all of it. But I think
this is
I did a preview.
Beginner friendly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you did. We were both there at the same time. It was awesome. I love it. I think it's a great beginner friendly game. It's got a lot of really good, JRPG mechanics. Story is just okay in my opinion. But it's a lot of fun. It's genuinely a ton of fun. I'd probably put it in B tier.
Sure.
Yeah. Good with that.
We want back. I guess I'm the only one who's played it, so that's where I'll put it.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Disgaea 7. Another
Disgaea representation. Yep.
Disgaea representation, right? So this is not that beginner friendly. This is all about min-maxing.
Yeah, like Disgaea, as far as tactics games go, like Disgaea is not a good beginner-friendly tactics game. It's not the worst. Like I wouldn't put it too low on the list, but I would recommend Fire Emblem certainly Fire Emblem above this any day. If you're looking to get into tactics.
Back of C.
That's fine. I'd probably put it above Mario RPG and Guardians. Yeah, that feels okay. Maybe below Guardians. I'm not sure. It's
not as approachable.
Somewhere. Yeah.
Let's do that. Grandia. I haven't played these games in forever, dude.
Oh,
so like
I love the Grandia.
They're great games. But I haven't played them forever, and I haven't played the remaster, so I don't know how approachable these games are.
I think they're pretty approachable. They're great games, obviously very representative. Like these are some of the sort of the core historical JRPGs. I do still think that they have incredible battle systems that are unique to Grandia, but still get into a lot of your skills and your magic and chain attacks and different things like that. So I can't see putting it terribly high because it is one of those like, do you want a classic feel or do you want something that kind of represents where we're at now? But I'd probably put it like below or the back of B tier or something like that. Like I think it's still if you've never played the genre,
this tier list is,
it's
guys. We are killing it
so far.
We're killing it right now.
Oh man, if you just had Resident Evil in D, then it would be perfectly balanced.
It can go there. It can go to the back of D.
We're not going to put it on the list, guys. Okay. It's a joke. All right, somebody's going to see this and be like, "What?" Final Fantasy Tactics. We've all played it. Evil East Chronicles is legendary.
Oh, it's good.
So good. It's a great introductory to like if somebody was like, I want a tactics JRPG, I will recommend this 10 times out of 10. for beginners, for veterans, for anyone. I would.
Okay, and the Evil East Chronicles does have an easy mode.
Easier difficulty mode. I put this in A tier, and I'd probably put it above Chrono Trigger.
Yep, I agree.
I'm good with that. Mm-hmm. Good with that.
Yeah, because I think the accessibility of the Evil East Chronicles and just like how well this represents so much of what's good in the genre. Yeah, I think that's a good spot.
Tales of
I'm
Arise.
so glad we put it there because I love that game.
Yeah, me too. Tales of Arise, I've played it, finished it, love it. Mags, I know you've played it, finished it. Brandon, have you played it?
Yep, played it, finished
awesome.
it, loved
all
it.
of us. I love this game, and Tales of Berseria might be my favorite, but Tales of Arise is top 3 for me. And I know it gets a lot of hate. I'm really not sure so much why.
I've never understood that.
I think the second half of the story soured a lot of people, and I don't think it was.
I liked it.
I don't think it was the best personally, but I still love the game. But I can understand, and I think the representation of slavery wasn't the best.
It wasn't great,
and those are where the complaints are. But I think overall, as a JRPG, like it's pretty strong in most of the elements.
It's good beginner. It's a good, nice, approachable action JRPG too. It's not overly challenging. You've got a lot of representation in terms of like classes, like types of
yes,
characters.
You have your tank, you have DPS, you have healing, you have
good characters.
Yeah.
I liked the soundtrack a lot.
It's really good.
Art style holds up really well.
Looks great.
A tier?
I think so.
Where at?
Okay. I was going to say B tier, but I think at back of A tier maybe in terms of accessibility.
Yeah, I think so.
We're off balance. Yo, what's this next one? Wait a minute. Unicorn Overlord, baby. Let's go. Unicorn Overlord. Unicorn Overlord. Let's go. Woo!
Greatest story ever
told.
There should be a tier just for that.
Oh my gosh, there should be. Oh man.
The opportunity.
No, just no all around. No.
In reality, I love how he just busted out his shirt.
I know.
In reality, I think this is a good approachable tactics game. It's not like overly difficult, and it's all about planning. It does have a lot of systems to it.
Yeah, I don't know if this is super beginner friendly, to be honest.
No, I don't. I think it's C.
Well, of course, Mags. I think that's generous. I expected a D tier from you on this one. I could put it in front of Tales of Grace's F. What do you think, Brandon?
I love this game.
All right, so I think in terms,
yeah, I was gonna say in terms of accessibility, to be completely honest, like either back of C or top of D. Like this isn't a quality question. It like for me as a veteran tactics player, it took a minute to figure things out. Now, once I did, I broke the game, of course, but that's because I have all of the experience with strategy tactics games, right? So, yeah.
I'm with you. It's fine.
I'm
not gonna push on it because it's kind of a complicated game.
Yeah.
Visions of Mana, on the other hand, extremely approachable, lighthearted, fun, just beautiful. An all-around beautiful, great action JRPG, top to bottom. I do think it's more like in the 7 to 8 range in terms of quality, but I think most people would come in and enjoy this game if they're looking for a good JRPG. I would probably put it somewhere in B tier.
Yeah, I was thinking B.
Behind Octopath?
Yeah.
A good spot?
That works.
Yeah, I think it's a good spot.
There we go. Persona 3 Reload.
All right, listen. We got Persona 5 Royal up top. Persona 3 Reload mechanically is, it's up there. Obviously, Tartarus is not nearly as good as the palaces and things like that.
Right.
but the battle system and everything is fantastic. The story is incredible. Like with
really
Persona,
is.
you can't
Special.
lose with that. So for me personally, it would be hard not to have Persona 3 Reload in S tier. If we have P5 in S tier, I might put it further down to distinguish it from 5, because I think 5 is the recommendation for Persona for a newcomer. But Persona 3 Reload is real freaking good, and I think it's perfectly accessible.
Yeah,
I do too.
I agree with all that.
Yeah, I mean, Persona 3 Reload it's like one of the best JRPGs. Soundtrack, amazing, characters, incredible. It does have a slower start than Persona 5 Royal and Tartarus, even though it's been upgraded from like the original Persona 3, so it's a little bit more appealing, and offers a little bit more variation. I think it's not on the level of Persona 5 Royal, but it's still one of the best JRPGs ever made. And if you're looking
as far
for
as accessibility, the Tartarus
is
could
more
work in its favor.
accessible.
Yeah.
I do think like if you're looking for a JRPG that has like all those social aspects to it, like Persona is that series. And Persona 5 Royal may be a little bit more lighthearted, while if you are the type that looks for like a really dark, kind of twisted story, Persona 3 Reload would be the recommendation. And I put it in S tier 2, and I'm guessing you probably would want it behind Fire Red.
Nah, put it in front of Fire Red.
Oh,
he did that for me.
I know
Just
he did.
that.
I know he did.
All right, now we got some Brandon games, right?
Yeah,
Fire
and
Emblem.
This is going to be a heart and head conversation for me.
I mean, Fire Emblem, I played both of these. You know, I'm not really a tactics guy.
Get out of here.
Anyway,
how long is that joke going to go on for? I think some people actually believed it.
Forever.
I love tactics games.
Yeah.
I think of the two, I think Three Houses is the more accessible game.
Yeah, I would agree.
Path of Radiance, though, well, I don't know. Path of Radiance and Radiant Dawn are probably, like, for the North American releases, are probably the two hardest games.
Yeah, they're tough.
I didn't think Path of Radiance was that hard.
I don't either.
I mean, it's not.
But
it's not that hard. But it also, I don't know if you use like save states with Nintendo.
Did you play
that
on
makes
hard
it
mode?
way more approachable.
Well, no, I use save states.
Yeah,
and I played on normal, but I mean, I feel like if a beginner was playing it, they would play on normal.
On NSO,
sure, like they wouldn't
probably play on normal.
Talk it up, Max. Let's get it up there. Sure, I'll take this argument.
I don't know. I just felt like it was a very like cohesive Fire Emblem experience. You had the combat, you had the story. It wasn't overly long. The maps had a great variety. The tutorials explained everything really well. Like
Mags is also a good example, right? Because she, like, I don't know how. Have you played a ton of Fire Emblem games, Mags? Or
I've played Awakening, Three Houses, Engage, and Path of Radiance.
Okay. Well, I would say.
Listen,
what are we thinking?
I just want to say, this is one of the greatest episodes of all time because Mags is the one making the argument here for Path of Radiance, and that means we have won.
It was a really good game, and I don't think that I would put it above Three Houses, but I do think that it's not. I do think it's pretty accessible. Like maybe it's in like one lower tier than Three Houses.
I would probably personally, I'd put Path of Radiance in B tier and Three Houses in A tier. I'd put Path of Radiance probably at the very front of B tier.
It's more accessible than Xenoblade.
Top of B. Yeah.
It's definitely more accessible.
And then Three Houses should be an A for sure.
I agree with that.
Where are we thinking in A?
In
front of Dragon Quest.
10. Yeah, below
right
10,
there.
I'd say.
Yeah, I think that's
good.
perfect. Star Ocean Second Story R. This is like probably the only Star Ocean game I like, and I really like it. I really like it a lot. It's very, very good.
It's a great game. I love the Star Ocean games.
I don't know if it's
question
all that
this one though.
I don't think it
Yeah,
is
there's
either.
a lot of mechanics. And listen, if you can get into those mechanics, you can bust this game wide open and it's incredibly fun. But with the way you have all of your skills that you can learn and what they impact and how they combine, like there's quite a bit going on for Star Ocean that's not as straightforward as honestly most of what's on this list.
Yeah,
So
I think it's C
See?
or D personally because they're good games, but they
yeah,
can be a bit counterintuitive in some ways.
I want to say top of C just because I like it too much to see it lower, but I mechanically it is not as easy to understand as
As
basically
Tails or
everything.
Pokemon
Or
or
Rune
Yeah.
Factory.
Guardians. It's definitely easier to understand than Disgaea or Unicorn Overlord.
Yeah, that's true.
I think that's fair. I think that's a good spot.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's a good spot. Yeah.
I kind of want to move Super Mario RPG to in front of Guardians of Azuma.
That's fine.
No. Leave it there. Because I'm thinking about like, yes, technically it's easier, but would you recommend it over Guardians of Azuma?
No.
Then leave it.
Okay. Like a Dragon, Yakuza, Ichiban. One of the
I have
best.
yet to play this.
I haven't
want
played
to.
it either.
I have yet to play
Neither
it.
one of you?
So it's all
Oh.
you, Slam.
Yep.
Okay. I do think this one's pretty approachable, especially if you come from a background that, like we used an example earlier, that is not JRPG heavy. Maybe you've played modern mainstream open world games, GTA and things like that. And you're like, oh, I want to experience a JRPG. Yakuza Like a Dragon is going to give you that, but it's also going to give you great characters, nice, amazing story. You've got turn-based combat. You've got item management, all the little kind of subtle JRPG mechanics that you really expect. In a great, Japan setting. So
Mm-hmm.
And you get Dragon Quest in that game, don't you?
yeah, and he's
obsessed.
he's obsessed with Dragon Quest.
But I mean, isn't there an arcade where you can actually go and play Dragon Quest?
I believe so. And also, I think in his mind, everything that's happening is a Dragon Quest game.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
Like he's living.
Which is hilarious and amazing. Yeah.
I would say it's B tier because it's still got some difficulty spikes. It's not the most JRPG,
Mm-hmm.
right? So we fall into that area where I want someone to get into JRPGs. I'm not going to necessarily recommend this one to them because I don't know if they're going to come away wanting to just play more open world games or if they're going to come away wanting to play more JRPGs. I would probably put it kind of toward the back of B tier.
Yeah.
Maybe right here.
All right.
Ease 10.
We need some more D's, dude.
Ease 10, I think, is great. I think this is such an approachable, amazing JRPG. It's it's so good. It runs so good. It's available. It's so many places. It is just like when you think of action JRPGs, you think of Ease,
I think this one in particular is the most approachable too, just because of how it looks and plays. It's very smooth. It's not it does get gradually harder because in East there are some difficulty spikes for sure. The boss battles can be quite difficult. So I think that kind of rules against it. But I think overall it is the most approachable East game. As far as
an A, maybe behind Dragon Quest 11.
I was going to put it in B.
I was too, because those difficulty, those boss battles can be tough.
Yeah, I'm just thinking about Ease games in general. Like Ease games in general,
you
great
can
games.
Knock down the difficulty though.
Can you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you can. Okay. I just think in general, though, it is less forgiving than some of these other games.
Yeah, I think.
But I think it could be at the top of B.
Yeah, we can do top of B.
Because it's no more unforgiving
or below Fire Emblem.
Yeah, I think both of those are kind of on the same level of where they are a little bit unforgiving, but there are ways to make it easier.
For show. For show. Let's do.
Okay.
Okay. Max is like, please don't make that a thing too. Final Fantasy VII Remake, Mags's favorite game.
You know it.
Of all time.
She loves this one.
Biggest fan.
Like
Cloud's
when she
the
talks
best.
about JRPGs, she's like, Final Fantasy VII Remake? Yes, please.
I honestly don't know how high I would put this one.
I put it
Not
in.
because
I put it in here.
don't like it, Max.
Yeah. No, I know. No, I think I put it in here because it brings up an interesting question where it's like, is this really approachable for people who have not played the original? Or
from a story
like,
standpoint.
Yes.
Yeah. That's a good question.
Because I think, and I also think a lot of people have seen this game. Like, it was huge when it came out. It's still huge. It's iconic. And even people who don't play JRPGs are like, should I play this? And so that's why I wanted it on here. Because I'm just like, that presents a unique question.
Yeah. I personally like, and I know this is a hard sell because you're talking about going back and playing a game from whatever it was, 98, if you're not going to go this route. I personally am always pro play the original first because there's a lot of conversation online about this, a lot of arguments about this, but like you could make a very strong argument that Remake and Rebirth are sequels to the original. There are story reasons to believe that, and there are a lot of connections that you will only benefit from if you get the original. So if I were to make a recommendation for someone who is interested in diving into the Final Fantasy VII rabbit hole, my recommendation would not be Remake first, personally. I would recommend doing the original, especially because like the 7 on Steam and Switch and everywhere else has all of these other accessibility features where you can increase experience and gold and all these kinds of things to like speed up the grind. So it significantly reduces the amount of time to play the original, and you get all the benefits of it going into Remake. But Remake is technically more approachable by today's standards because of the battle system and things like that. That being said, certainly if I'm thinking about beginners, I'm not sure I would recommend these games as like a starting point because the battle system is super fun and fluid and amazing and I love it. But if you've never played a game with that kind of battle system and those mechanics, it might be a little off-putting to you. Although I think a counter argument could be made if you've played any sort of action game, because there is enough crossover there that you could probably pull it off. So I don't know.
It's a
I don't
tough
know where I
one.
would put this. Yeah.
I'd
probably
probably
put it at B because I mean, I do think, I mean, yes, it's kind of a sequel to Final Fantasy VII. And I mean, I would agree playing the original is the way to go, but I don't think going into 7 Remake is like the worst thing ever. You know, and I
don't think
it's
the worst thing ever.
I think it is a good representation of Final Fantasy, and I do think it is one of the best Final Fantasy games, like one of the best games in the series, Remake and Rebirth, and we'll kind of just loop those in to this one. I mean, Rebirth is one of my favorite games of all time. It's up there. So I have a hard time not recommending this one highly, but I'm okay with putting it in B tier because of all the over complex systems of the combat, and then the materia system's it's kind of its own thing, and then
I mean, honestly,
story is a bit convoluted.
I was gonna say C.
Oh, see, I'm struggling right now because personally, like, I would recommend Remake over Tales of Arise any day. Personally, but
I probably would too.
Oof.
Yeah.
I would not. Not if they've not played the original and not if they want to understand what's happening. As someone who played Remake without playing 7, I couldn't recommend it. Not strongly, and not to a beginner.
And you said you would put it in C tier?
I mean, I'm willing to put it in B if y'all wanted an A, but I don't think I'd put it higher than that. I wouldn't recommend it over Fire Emblem. or really any of those in B, because you don't have to have background knowledge to play any of the other ones in B. And I think that's a detriment to it, unfortunately.
I think it's a fair point. Like I might agree that top of C might make more sense.
It's tough.
Listen, it is tough, but Mags is the only true beginner when it comes to this game. And I think she's right. Like, we love the heck out of this game because we have history. And like, it's a good game. I'm not saying it's like bad if you don't have history.
No.
But for a beginner, I do think that's probably the most legitimate perspective.
Okay.
I feel like I've upset you both.
You
in different ways.
Well, after this episode, we're gonna go cry together. We'll talk about our feelings and get out how Mags has beat us up this entire episode, and it's gonna be fine. We'll be fine.
Those karate chops are vicious.
Oh, they hurt.
All right.
Sorry.
Atelier Yumiya, I think I'm the only one that's played this one.
Mm-hmm.
I played it, reviewed it. I love the Atelier series. I do think this is probably the easiest one, but simply because I think the most complex aspect of Atelier is the crafting.
Mm-hmm.
And Yumiya is the only game that lets you like completely streamline that and like do like basically an auto crafting system. It's also open world, so you can kind of like do whatever you want whenever you want. Combat has like some weird mechanics to it that are different from most Atelier games, but they're not overly complicated. It's not super challenging. I would put it probably in C tier because again, I mean, we're talking about JRPGs we would recommend to a beginner, and I think that this is a very niche game in general. I would probably put it maybe in front of Super Mario.
I'd put it in front of Disgaea personally.
Yeah, definitely in front of Disgaea.
But I think that's a good spot.
Yeah.
Saga Frontier 2, another game I've played. Nobody else has played it. This is for representation of Saga. I like the game. I don't think it's beginner friendly at all, and I probably wouldn't recommend it to beginners in any way, shape, or form.
The Saga series in general is like D tier for me. Yeah.
I'd probably put it in front of Bravely Default.
All right, we did it.
There's our tier list.
Wow. Look at us.
All right, how do we feel about this? Let's go through it. So S tier, we got Persona 5 Royal, Trails in the Sky first chapter, Persona 3 Reload, Pokemon Fire Red, or just Pokemon in general, Kingdom Hearts, and Ni no Kuni. How are we feeling?
It.
I like that S tier.
Mm-hmm.
It got a good variety of like games with deep mechanics, good representations of the genre, and games that are on the easier side and very approachable.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
All right, A tier, Final Fantasy Tactics, Chrono Trigger, Expedition 33, Final Fantasy X, Fire Emblem Three Houses, Dragon Quest 11S, Monster Hunter Stories 2, and Tales of Arise.
I like it.
Yep.
Shoot, man. If you are watching this and you're still here, first of all, thank you. Second of all, if you just play S and A tier, you're good for the next like few years, and you will have like some of the best experiences. So
your entire life, dude. These are all great games.
All right, B tier. We got Fire Emblem: Path of Radiance, East 10, Xenoblade Chronicles, Octopath Traveler 2, Visions of Mana, Final Fantasy 16, Digimon Storytime Strangers, Grandia, and Yakuza Like a Dragon. How are we feeling about that?
I like that. I think that B tier is solid. That's like where the line starts to get drawn, where games get a little bit more complicated, but are highly recommended because they're good.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then we get into C tier where either the games are not well represented, or they have some other determining factor where they're just not. They're not there.
They may be too challenging, or just not representative of the genre as a whole, or require background knowledge of other systems and story.
Yep. In the case of one individual game. And then D tier, these are just games that, like, listen, if you've played all of these other games, like, then have at it with these other games. But these are definitely not good starting points for any beginner. And then finally, we have Resident Evil, which is the game that Mags needs to play because it's going to be a thing now. So that's the Mags needs to play tier.
Mags needs to play tier,
but we
that
do
tier
have
would
one in there for
so
Mags.
many games in it. It's ridiculous.
All right, I think it's a good list. I think we're good.
Good job, guys.
Are there any games top of mind, real quick, that you guys feel like we missed, or IPs that weren't represented here?
I would say Dragon Quest VII Reimagined is a great representation of Dragon Quest as a series, and is also very easy and approachable. It's streamlined. It's not super, super long. I think it's probably the most approachable game in the series, and it's a good representation of JRPGs as a whole.
Yeah.
So I would put that one in there.
Yeah. I think like Lunar and Suikoden, because we had Grandia here, could have been represented here. I'd probably put them somewhere similar to Grandia. I think they're fantastic games. Maybe Suikoden would be further down because there's a lot going on in those games.
Yeah.
But Lunar's pretty straightforward and easy to get into. Those are good JRPGs. So those come to mind. But yeah,
I think it's good.
All right. Let's wrap this one up. This was a long one. So, Mags, where can everybody find you?
Yeah, you can find me at Avenger Mags on Twitter and Blue Sky, and writing for Nintendo Force Magazine. Our March-April issue just came out. So if you missed that, you can still order it via our website, and we'd love for you to check it out.
All right, Slam, where can everybody find you?
Slam Zany on all the things, mainly on YouTube. I did a few videos recently. I've got my Xenoblade Chronicles X video up for Switch 2, my epilogue impressions. I had a Steam Next Fest video where I went through and played a bunch of random games during Steam Next Fest and gave you all 10 that I really enjoyed. But yeah, and I'll be having a Pocopia video up pretty soon that I'm working on right now. So
I'm shocked.
Yeah, that's where you can find me.
All right. And I'm Retro Brandon. You can find me at Retro Brandon on YouTube or here.
On this podcast.
On this podcast. Or at Nova Brand on Twitter X. You can also find me after this episode in the corner with Slam crying about our feelings from getting beat up by Mags as much as we did. But it's going to be okay, everybody. We'll be fine. We'll work it out. We love each other here. So it's going to be okay.
It'll make them stronger.
Yeah, this was fun.
This was fun.
It was fun.
Yeah. Yep. Let us know in the comments if there's anything we missed. Obviously, nobody's going to disagree with us at all. Or if there's any other games that you would want to chat about as high contenders for beginners. But otherwise, thanks for being here, and we'll see you in the next one.
See you on the next one.
Bye.
Later.